Hello.
Hello,
how are you?
I am good. How are you?
Good.
So we
Slow,
had,
slow
uh,
week.
what was that?
It's a slow week.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. I mean, at least a little bit in the world of Marvel, it's a little bit slower than what we've been used to. But
Oh no, like the regular week is crazy, but like yeah, there's no MCU, no weird trailers, no. I mean,
right, not yet at least. We're still
yeah.
only halfway through the week, so don't jinx us. But we did have a really strong lineup of comics that we're going to talk about this week. At least I thought so. We'll see as we get into things a little bit more here. Of course, we're going to have some news to talk about as well. But let's dive into our comics here. And we will start off with The Death of Doctor Strange, Bloodstone, #1. Elsa Bloodstone, I'll admit, is a character that I haven't read a whole lot about. I've read a few things here and there with tie-in issues, different events and things like that. But so I was excited to get into this one, and I really liked this issue. What do you think?
I did too. I mean, I think I'm with you in that not really in my wheelhouse, but I'm glad this is one of those comics that I read because we were going to talk about it, and I'm glad I did. And I think the Doctor Strange sort of tie-in-ness of it kind of made it more accessible than if we kind of already knew what was going on, so we didn't have give us a little more time to get to know the characters, which was cool.
Yeah, it was definitely a very accessible issue. I kind of this issue kind of made me lament the fact that Marvel announces things in their comics so far in advance, and so we knew about this new Bloodstone sister that was going to show up. I kind of wish they hit us with that as a surprise, and then also tying into the overall Death of Doctor Strange thing and knowing he's taking over as the sorcerer or sorceress supreme going forward. I kind of wish that was still a mystery because that would have made me think a little bit more with this issue, although things took a turn in a different direction by the end of it. But so yeah, I kind of wish they kind of left us in the dark a little bit more with some of this, but I did really like it. I like the family dynamic. I like this introduction of this new Lyra, I guess is it Lyra? I don't know. We need, yeah. But yeah, I like this new character. I'm very interested in this concept of them not liking sorcerers and potentially moving forward with that with a sort of a, I mean, maybe not Doctor Strange because this whole thing is the death of Doctor Strange, but the Sorcerer Supreme versus the Bloodstones, and maybe that becomes a thing. I like that possibility. So yeah, I think this is a really good start here. As for our next issue, The Amazing Spider-Man #85, continuing where we left off with Doc Ock last week, 2 weeks ago. I can't keep track. But yeah, I'm curious to get your thoughts on what we saw here.
So it was interesting. I enjoyed it, but it was interesting because there's like a lot of silliness in this, and then it gets real at the end, and you're like, it was. So we a lot of Doc Ock this week, but it's. I feel like it's like, to me, this was a turning point issue. It's like we're finally getting somewhere with Beyond, and it's the midway point of the whole Beyond arc. So or whatever you call this. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was, because we've had so much of Doc Ock lately in this title that I kind of felt like I don't need to see another Doc Ock battle. But I thought the stuff with him and Ben Reilly in particular was really interesting.
Yeah, I totally agree. And like I said, this is a really strong lineup to the point where I had this down as my pick of the week and then changed my mind later on a couple of times, actually. So yeah, I really like this. And you mentioned the silliness. You mean like the sandwich department, a whole room full of sentient sandwiches, or the talking goldfish? Like there was a lot of really funny stuff in this, and then it did become very, very real and dark at the end. And I think not in an unpredictable way. I think this story is going the way we expect it to, but it's still playing out very, very well. I really like the way that they're handling this story. Very curious to know if we are going to. You mentioned we saw a lot of Doc Ock this week. Very different story with a different comic. these aren't really crossing paths at all. So I'm curious to know if we'll ever get an answer as for what Doc Ock's plan really was here, if it was just to push Ben in the right direction here, or if he had some other intentions that we'll never see really play out. I don't know. I'm curious to see if we ever get an answer for that. But yeah, no, I really like this. This is also this issue. You remember we talked a little while back about how this Beyond arc is going to come to an end, and they teased with the return of Peter Parker, it might surprise you which Spider-Man you're rooting for. And this is the first issue that's kind of shown me, okay, I can see how we would possibly root for Ben because he seems to be going in that direction right now. So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah, and I mean, if we move on to the next title, it's just what was a little frustrating was I thought they were both good books, but total different characterizations of Doc Ock. And
Yeah.
I mean, they're not out of the realm of Doc Ock, but it just felt like because they were coming out at the same time, you're like, I feel this way about him 10 minutes ago, and now I feel this way about him today. And without any sort of, it was just one of those weird things that happens in comics, but it was unfortunate because I think it negatively. I read this one first, and I think it made me negative. I still enjoyed what's it called? Furious 4.
Well, it's Devil's Reign Superior 4. There we go.
Yeah, I still enjoyed it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I probably would have if I wasn't kind of already in a certain mindset with Doc Ock based off of Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I mean, speaking of different characterizations of Doc Ock, you get a whole bunch of them in this one comic. Sort of all along the same mindset for the most part, at least in this one. But you're right, very different from the one we've seen in Amazing Spider-Man. And yet not out of the realm of possibility for Doc Ock and what we've seen in comics before. It's just like we're taking him from two different time periods here, more or less. So, yeah, it was definitely interesting to get these two comics in the same day. They probably would have been better served to space them out just a little bit. But I did really like Devil's Reign Superior 4. Mostly, I mean, I love just getting a look at these different creative character designs and seeing these mashup characters of Doc Ock and Ghost Rider, Doc Ock and Wolverine, Doc Ock and the Hulk. And you get some surprises in there too, which was really cool to see. So it was a fun issue, and I'm definitely interested to see where this goes. But I agree, this was felt like a little bit of a step back, just really because it was the same week. I would have enjoyed it more had they been spaced out.
I agree.
We were not done with Devil's Reign this week, though. We had another tie-in. Although, before I move off of Superior 4, this feels more like a spin-off as opposed to a tie-in. Like, I'm not sure if this is going to actually impact the Devil's Reign storyline. It seems more that this is being caused because of Devil's Reign as opposed to other way around.
Which I would say is kind of like the way tie-ins used to be. It wasn't like, you have the main story and then you would see how this impacted that character, right? Like it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to necessarily dovetail. Like sometimes they feel like they do. I mean, and so I kind of like that. It's like, okay, Wilson Fisk, gave Doc Ock, the Baxter Building. What happens? And it has not. It doesn't need to. It's not like how does this affect Kingpin? No, it's just this is what happened in Devil's Reign. So how does this affect Doc Ock? I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's a fair point, and it definitely ends with a very exciting reveal / tease. So I'm looking forward to see how that plays out. I want to point out a comment from Kidder real quick before we move off of this one, which Doc Ock from Spider-Man would meet Doc Hogg from Bear in the Big Blue House.
Welcome to the Blue House. And a small house. Things to do. Fun for you in the House of Blue. Welcome to the Big Blue House.
That's too accurate. You're going to get us a copyright claim on here. Like I said, there was more Devil's Reign for us to read this week, which was Devil's Reign Spider-Woman. And this is the one that ended up being my pick of the week. I went back and forth a few times, but I really, really like this issue. Spider-Woman is an amazing character. She's always entertaining. And this one had the big reveal of the week, of the year so far, and in recent memory for a while here. So this was really cool.
You there?
Yep. Did I lose you?
Okay. Yeah. Oh, so you thought that reveal was a big deal, huh?
I mean, it's hard to talk about without giving anything away, really. But I mean, it goes back to a story arc that I really, really loved. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
That's great. Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I'm not a huge Spider-Woman aficionado. No, just never really got into it. But you don't need to get it. I mean, the exhibition here is pretty. There is some, but it's pretty kind of clear. And it to me, it also seems a little tangential in all the right ways to Devil's Reign. This isn't, this is Wilson Fisk just messing with people, and then but it's not even really the main point. I mean, the cover's a little misleading in a good way, but no, I thought it was good, and it's great to see Spider-Woman have such great storytelling.
Yeah, and given what we've had with Spider-Woman recently, there were a lot of directions I thought they might go with, where this big reveal was gonna end up, and it was not anything like I expected. And so yeah, I think they really played off of that very well. And yeah, I mean, her involvement with Fisk is really cool in the beginning of it, and yeah, I think it's just it really caught me off guard. So I'm excited to see where this goes. We have our final issue of the week, and this was the kickoff to a brand new series, Daredevil, Woman Without Fear. And I take it this is your pick of the week.
That is. People just think that I forget, and then I'm always picking. I always feel like I end up with the last comic, but no, this is my pick of the week. Great Elektra stuff in here. Has a great way of kind of giving you a crash course at the same time, giving you an exciting story to move forward with. Chip Zdarsky, you get, it's still a Daredevil book too. It's not like I just took the mantle. There's a long lineage that connects it to the Matt Murdock Daredevil. And Devil's Reign here is also kind of a little bit of a light touch in a good way. But I've never been a huge Elektra fan, probably because I got ruined by that movie. But I really, really liked this issue.
Yeah, I agree. And this is, again, another one I considered having my pick of the week for a little while there. But yeah, really, really like this. This is a great start to a new series. We mentioned some of the other issues being accessible. I mean, it doesn't get, anyone can jump into this one. You get Elektra's backstory all in I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 pages in this issue. And it's really cool to, get caught up so quickly and efficiently, and then still progress the story in a really, really exciting way. So often is the case with Elektra, that her past is coming back up to haunt her. So, that happens again here. No surprise there. But I think they've started off a really, really good story. You mentioned it does kind of connect to Devil's Reign, not too much to the point where that's dominating the story, but just enough to the opposite effect of what we had with Amazing Spider-Man and the Superior 4 comics, where this feels like it's a part of the bigger universe as opposed to going against it. So I did really like that. Also, this was just my favorite art of the week for sure. There were some really, really awesome images in this comic. So those are our 5 comics for this week. And we're just going to jump right into the news because, again, no MCU to talk about or anything like that. Next week, we at least have assembled the making of Hawkeye. So we'll have that. What we did get today, as far as the MCU goes, is Eternals debuting on Disney+. So that's really exciting. I can't wait to watch that a little bit later. But we also got the release of a deleted scene titled Small Talk, and it's a scene between Sprite and Dane Whitman. Did you get a chance to check this out yet?
I didn't, not yet.
Nothing, as deleted scenes go, it's nothing too exciting, but it is, fun interaction between these two characters who I really enjoyed in the movie.
It's not many times that the featured image is focused on somebody's pelvis. They're dead, but they're.
It could be a lot worse. That's for sure, as far as featured pelvic images go. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and there are you can purchase Eternals right now digitally, and you can see there are 4 total deleted scenes, as well as a gag reel, which is always fun. So you can check that out, and you can see this scene, Small Talk, on laughingplace.com right now. Speaking of Eternals, we also got an Infinity comic launching on Marvel Unlimited. This is a partnership with Webtoon. And this, I like the idea of this. This gives you a look at the years of the Eternals fighting the Deviants and interacting with different human cultures throughout time. So I think that's a really interesting concept that I'm excited to check out on Marvel Unlimited. For the as far as the future of the MCU goes, we got a little bit of news, nothing too big, but we learned that actress Laura Donnelly will be joining the cast of that Marvel Halloween special we talked about a while back. Still don't really have many details about this series just yet. The thought is Werewolf by Night. I don't know, maybe. We'll see where that goes. Do you have any familiarity with Laura Donnelly? Any of
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat there. But as always, just exciting to see progress on these projects, especially this one, because this came out of nowhere and wasn't in that slate that they officially announced with the Disney Plus Day or anything like that. So exciting to get news there.
It's interesting because I feel like we're on the verge of some major like MCU sort of like scheduling kind of announcement. Like I feel like because we don't know what's next. I mean, besides Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness, basically. And so it just feels like we know all this other stuff's coming in 2022, but we don't know when.
Yeah, I've been kind of on pins and needles for like a couple weeks now, just waiting, thinking any day we're going to get the announcement of the next Disney Plus series or a teaser of some sort. Something's going to come soon. So definitely looking forward to whenever that actually happens. As for now, though, Marvel is going to continue and try and take my money as they this new WandaVision Scarlet Witch pop is available for pre-order from Entertainment Earth right now. And it glows in the dark because who doesn't want terrifying Wanda, glowing in the corner of your room in the middle of the night? Aside from that, we do have some other comic book news, including one that definitely caught me off guard. The second annual XMen Vote. This mostly caught me off guard because I can't believe it's already been a year since we did this. It feels like it was.
Yeah, it's just like, didn't we do that? Because like they just, they had that at the Hellfire Gala and everything. Yeah. I just felt like we just did this.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently it's already been a year, and we are getting the second XMen Vote here. And I think I lost my tab for it. But you can vote right now up until Thursday at midnight Eastern time. Did you vote yet?
I didn't.
All right. Well, I put my vote out there. Guys. You got time. It's all right. I put my vote out there for Penance. I'm hoping to see. I was the one part of the X Corp comic that we talked about a while back. Penance was the one part that I really enjoyed the most, I think, of that. So I'm interested to see if she gets the shot to join the X-Men. I also feel like since that last vote, we didn't really get to see this X-Men team play out all that much just yet. Like I'd like to see more of the result before we start adding to the team. But I don't know. I guess we'll see where that goes. So, and by the way, they announced that the winner of this vote will be revealed at the next Hellfire Gala, which again, I can't believe we are already talking about.
I thought we just did that.
Also, just like last year, we are getting the sweepstakes. Marvel insiders can enter right now for a chance to be drawn into the Hellfire Gala. So you can bet I'll be entering to try and win that one again. Next, we have tying in with the whole mutant theme, and there's actually a whole bunch of X comics getting announced right now. XMen Red, and this is going to follow the mutants of Araco, and they're they recently settled on Mars, and we're going to see how that whole storyline goes. So that's really interesting, very different, kind I'm very interested to see how this goes with where we're at with Krakoa right now, because there's a lot going on there, and it seems like this is going to pull away from that a little bit. So, and especially with Magneto's involvement too. I'm not sure how this is all going to play out, but definitely looking forward to it. Outside of the mutant realm, we learned that Hulk #6 will wrap up this first arc from this Donny Cates run on Hulk, this Smashtronaut storyline. And it's going to introduce a new threat of some sort, whereas the rest of the Marvel Universe looked at the Hulk as the threat. Turns out there's something else lurking in the shadows, so we'll see how that goes. And that will be coming, just like XMen Red, by the way, will be coming in April. Actually, we don't have a date for Hulk #6 just yet, but shouldn't be too far off. We just did Hulk #4 recently, didn't we?
Wow, that title is flying by.
Yeah, it might have been 3, so maybe I'm a little bit ahead of myself. But so yeah, we're not that far off from Hulk #6, but who knows as far as the scheduling of comic releases. Another big issue, we are getting Thor #24, which is the Legacy #750. This one is coming in April, and this is bringing together a whole bunch of classic Thor creators. You're getting Al Ewing in there. Let me pull up the rest of the list here. Tom DeFalco will be involved, Walter Simonson, Dan Jurgen. So you're getting just an all-star lineup of Thor creators coming together to pull together a whole bunch of different Thor stories into this one giant issue. Again, this will be coming in April, so looking forward to that. We also have a couple other mutant-related stories, like I mentioned earlier. New Mutants. Let me get the exact number here. This is New Mutants #25. This will be coming in April, and this is going to be Magic versus Madeline Pryor for the Throne of Limbo. So that's not a story I expected. Not a story that I thought I needed, but now that I hear about it, I'm like, yes, give me that. I can't wait for that. April is shaping up to be a very exciting month, especially with where we're at right now and all of the crossover events that are just barely getting started. It's going to be pretty crazy in March into April. And finally, we have X-Force #27, also coming in April. And this is a really interesting concept too, which is X-Force is going to be tasked with basically protecting Krakoa from any outside threats. And yet the first threat that they're facing is something called Cerebrax, I think is how I'm going with the pronunciation, which is a sentient unit of Cerebro. So an interesting new threat, kind of like the X-Men version of Ultron. So I like that concept a lot. And it is, as you can see on this cover here, targeting Forge. So, I would assume going for the guy who can make anything out of, any sort of machine, trying to create its own robotic body. So very Ultron-esque, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, he plays Cerebro obviously plays a big deal in Krakoa, so it'll be interesting to see the ramifications.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they're protecting from the outside threats, but kind of looks like the first one's coming from inside. So we'll see how that goes. Well, do we have anything else? I mean, like you said, kind of a slow week in the world of Marvel, and it's been this way until we get some sort of MCU announcement.
Yeah, well, I'm okay with that. Like, you can go, and it gives Devil's Reign such a great storyline in the comics. I'm glad it gets a chance to shine. Sometimes the comics get overshadowed by obviously like Spider-Man No Way Home, or So if you're missing it, pick up Devil's Reign. You don't need or go on Marvel Unlimited. I've been needing a little bit of a sort of a easier read, so I've been reading Lockjaw and the Pet Adventures in Marvel Unlimited.
Nice.
So
that's a good choice. That was going to be my next question: is what are you doing with Marvel Unlimited right now? I am going to cheat a little bit here because I had to take a break from my comics in order to read a new Marvel novel, School of X, which you can check out my review on Laughing Place right now. This was awesome. This is very different from all of the previous novels in the Xavier Institute line. This is actually 7 different stories in one that do kind of all blend together in the end. So, just completely unique stories that go across different genres. 7 different very talented writers put this together. So highly recommend it. Really, really enjoyable book. And again, my full review is on Laughing Place right now. You can check that out.
Very good.
So
what else we got coming up on this lovely YouTube channel?
We have, let me find my schedule here. There we go. Yeah, we're official now. Look at this. Coming up later today, we've got a recap and live discussion of today's TCA panel. You said this one today was ABC, is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm particularly focused on a new show coming to ABC called Promised Land, the new season of American Idol, and a new freeform show called Single Drunk Female. So that's where the focus is today.
Cool. And tomorrow at, that by the way is at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time, we've got Who's the Boss Live, the latest Star Wars news and reviewing the latest episode of the Book of Boba Fett. I will be a guest on there, and I can't wait to talk some Star Wars after talking so much Marvel all the time. So keep an eye out for that tomorrow. And then Friday, we have at 2 p.m. Pacific, the Disney Plus portion of the TCA winter session. So do we have a full rundown for Disney Plus too, or do we not know yet?
I think we know. I don't know if we can share.
Okay.
So you won't want to miss it. I'll put it that way.
Awesome. So lots going on our YouTube channel over the next few days. And next week we'll be back to talk about more comics. And like I said, we have Hawkeye, or Assembled, the making of Hawkeye, hitting Disney Plus next Wednesday. So we'll be back to talk about that as well.
Absolutely. It just feels like there should be more, but there isn't.
Right. Yeah. We need to just, catch our breath, take advantage of this time.
Well, and part of it too is we've seen we saw the Eternals theatrically, but if you didn't, for whatever reason, you can catch that on Disney Plus. So let that warm your heart, your Marvel heart.
Yes, and I will be definitely watching that tonight, right after I watch Book of Boba Fett, the newest episode of Book of Boba Fett.
I got to see that too. So
yeah, got to do my homework for tomorrow. I have to be prepared. But yeah, we'll be back next week. So thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.